Missing someone, love with all your heart. Missing someone, love with heart.
What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. Happy Monday. Today I'm going to do a hair transformation on my client. We are going to be doing a red into a copper melt. This is her before. Last time she came in, I balayaged her hair and we did a red, like a deep reddish like wine color, and I will be using all Pulp-Rite products for today, so stay tuned on all my secrets on how to make reds last longer and keep them bright. So I began balayaging my client's hair with some Blonde AF in 6 volume, and I started here in the back of the nape of the neck, and as I did a consult with her, she did express that she wanted her ends to be a little bit lighter, meaning she wanted more color throughout her ends. So I am picking up some of the dark pieces throughout her ends. If she wanted to keep the same amount of dimension as we did last time, I would just pick up the pieces that I balayaged last time. But since we're going lighter, I am picking up some pieces throughout the ends. And as I go through this, guys, I am bumping up my developer probably up to 25 volume with this, and I will be putting her under the dryer for a little bit just to speed up the process. But our goal for her is to lift her to about a level 7, nothing too light, because with reds it's good to have some warmth. And for her, we're doing more of a brighter red, so any type of yellow tones or orange tones are going to work great for the color that we're going to be putting on her later. For my color placement, I am doing some chunky weaves on the bottom and then some more medium-sized weaves as I get towards the top here. And as I'm going through this too, I do make sure that my sections are pretty paper thin so that I can fully saturate the hair and get a pretty even lift with these pieces. Also, as I'm weaving the hair, I'm not taking these sections back to back, so I am leaving a little bit of dimension in between the sections that I'm weaving out. And the foil that I'm using is from Framar, which is like their embossed foil. I use like a foil cutter that they have to create these longer foils. I love using the foil cutter and their foils on my clients who have long hair because I'm able to like customize my foil size to the length of their hair, making my job super easy when I go in and balayage them. And as I'm remixing for the front here, I did bump up my developer to 20 volume from 6 volume where I started in the back. And again, I just like to do this so that when I'm finished foiling her, I don't have to rinse out my foils too quickly. I like to rinse out the foils when they're ready. So obviously when I start in the back, those foils have been processing for the longest amount of time. So I do a lower developer so I don't have to rinse them out too quickly before the front is ready. And as I get towards the front here for her money piece, I did do a baby light, slice, and then a baby light, and then I continued my balayage pattern up the sides here and all the way to the top. So as I'm weaving my client in the front here, I am doing the same weave pattern as I did in the back. So I am leaving a little bit more dimension in between my weaves. And as I get towards the top here, I am weaving out some of the dark throughout the mids and ends as well to make her feel like she has more color and getting her ends a little bit lighter. So since I started in the back, some of the foils are ready to be rinsed, so I'm just pulling out the foils that were ready, and you can see that her hair lifted to a nice level like 7 and 8 in the back. And in the mids and ends there, you can see they kind of lifted a little pinky. She was using a color conditioner at home, and normally I wouldn't really recommend this for clients if they're doing any other color, because a lot of color conditioners that are used at home can lift kind of like a pinkish salmony color. But since she's going for red, I told her honestly it was fine to refresh her red color because it kind of works with the color family that we're doing on her hair. And again, since we are doing a red color, I don't need to lift her too light. This was perfect for the color that we are going for. And plus with reds, I feel like you gotta do a bunch of different overlays of colors to make the color last longer. So all of this warmth that you see as I'm pulling out her foils are really gonna help with the color that we're gonna be putting on her, since we are adding more warmth and not fighting it. So for her first color overlay, I'm going to be using the Pulp Bright Liquid Demis, and I will be using the copper and the red boosters just on their own. This is actually the first time that I used them just straight out of the bottle. I've definitely used them as like a booster into my red formulas, but she wanted something that was pretty bright, so today I will be trying out how bright they are and testing the vibrancy for these colors. And I do mix them with the Liquid Demi Developer, and you're supposed to mix them 1-to-1. And so for the root, I'm doing that -66, which is the red, and then on the mids and ends, I'm doing the -44, which is the copper. So I took my client back to my chair, I towel dried her hair, and then I began to apply the -66 onto her root. And I like to apply this starting in the front whenever I do a root shadow, and I like to do this in the front wherever they part their hair, because I want this part to be the most vibrant and dark for the shadow root. And so I just go in taking sections about like maybe 1/4 inch all the way throughout the head, and I do take the section in the front pretty far back behind the ear so I can get as much hair as possible and get through the root shadow quicker. And then once I'm done basing the root, I do apply the lighter color, which is the copper, on the mids first. And I like to do the mids first because I feel like it creates a pretty melt, because the longer that toner lasts on your hair, it does get more vibrant and a little bit darker. So I do like to do 3 sections of the hair to kind of create a nicer melt with my toners. Also, if you have never tried the Pulp Bright Liquid Demis, I highly recommend them because they are very hydrating and have really great pigment in all of their colors. Like after doing this red color, you'll see as it processes how vibrant these boosters are and how amazing of a red they created. And plus, I've never used a Liquid Demi line where it made it feel like the hair was softer after I was done toning the hair. I think that's one of the biggest things that sets the Pulp Bright Liquid Demis apart from other Liquid Demi lines is the moisture and shine that it gives the hair. So I would totally recommend just trying it out and see the consistency and how it makes the hair feel so amazing. So after I applied the color, I definitely let this color process for about 15 minutes at room temperature, and you can already see how beautiful and vibrant the boosters are on their own. I think after seeing how beautiful this red turned out and processed here, I will definitely be using more of it on its own. I think I was just kind of scared in the past because it's like just using straight red, but it's honestly such a beautiful, vibrant red. Then the copper is super vibrant as well. So as I said earlier in this video, I always like to layer my reds so that they last longer. So I'm going to be doing a color bomb overlay. I'm using Fireball, some Nuclear, and a bit of Satire to create kind of like a reddish copper overlay. And if you don't know what a color bomb is, it's basically some color mixed in with the Santa Barbara deep conditioning mask that Pulp Riot has. And so it's basically a 2-in-1. I'm going to be coloring her and toning her hair, as well as giving her a deep conditioning treatment, which I really love giving to my clients to do for themselves at home, or even just doing it in the salon, because the mask makes the hair super soft as well as the color. And this is me just mixing up my special mix for my color bomb that I'm going to be applying for her. And I do put this on wet hair and let it sit for about 15 minutes. So this is what my client's hair looked like straight after I had blow dried her hair. You can see how beautifully vibrant the dash 66 is at her root, and how nice of a copper that dash 44 looks on the mids and ends. I love that the copper isn't too like neon bright. It kind of looks more of a natural copper tone, and I really love the melt with the red into it. I was pleasantly surprised how vibrant the boosters were from the Liquid Demi line, and how yet natural, even though these reds are pretty bright, it still looks more of like a natural auburn tone. And I know that this color is going to fade super pretty on her. She takes care of her hair really well, and my tips on keeping this color is to maybe wash your hair once a week with cold water. You have to use sulfate-free shampoo. I would probably recommend using the Pulp Bright Bangkok sulfate-free shampoo because it's really good at keeping the tone in the client's hair. And the reason why you also would want to wash these type of colors with cold water is because cold water will seal the cuticle and lock the color in, whereas hot water opens up the cuticle and kind of pushes out the color. So it's really important to wash your hair with cold water if you want to keep your vibrant colors inside your hair and last as long as possible. I think when doing reds, the biggest tip is to don't be afraid to layer your red formulas when creating your color for your client, because odds are when you're creating a vibrant red like this or any type of red, I feel like it's really great to do overlays and layers of red tones so that the color lasts longer, because reds do tend to fade quite quickly, and sometimes it takes more than just one red formula to create the perfect red shade. Anyways, I hope you guys learned something new, and thank you guys so much for watching and tuning into this week's episode, and I will talk to you guys next week.